Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, are the Clippers being blackballed by the media this season? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also be on the lookout for our premium community that's on the way, and also be on the lookout for Dreamerspro.com, which is coming up after that. So anyway, I know this sounds like a broken record, but it's something that kind of irks me. Not kind of, it really does irk me a lot. Now listen, we understand how the Clippers ended their season last season. We get that. They blew a 3-1 lead, right? It was inexcusable. Kawhi Leonard came up short. We got it. We understood that, right? This happened. This has happened. And we all went into this season with a wait and see approach, right? We wanted to see, how was this team going to come out? Were they going to have some of the same hiccups that they had last season with blowing leads, not being focused? Would players fit better? They got some new pieces. How would they blend in with the pieces that they decided to retain? All of these different questions. And starting off the season, they beat some very good teams. They beat the Blazers, they beat the Lakers, they beat the Nuggets, etc. They had some solid wins throughout the season. Now, they also had some disappointing losses. The most disappointing loss, as far as the most notable one, was to the Dallas Mavericks, losing that game by 40, I think it was like 47 points, which is just a horrendous loss. And then most recently, the most disappointing loss they had recently was against the Sacramento Kings, right? But you know, it happens, right? Things like this happen. Certain teams in the NBA have letdowns. Now, the Clippers, every single team in the NBA had a losing streak, and the Clippers were the last team to lose 2 games in a row. So it wasn't like as if the Clippers are just out there getting, you know, mollywopped by teams and all of this. But overall, I think it's safe to say that this is a better team from top to bottom than they were last year. Number one, they have a better coach. I think we can all agree that Tyronn Lue is an upgrade for this team. I think he's the right guy for this team. He seems to be a guy that relates very well to players, but also holds guys accountable. I think their coaching staff, with the addition of Chauncey Billups and some others, I think is giving that coaching staff more depth and other voices on the bench that these guys can listen to. You saw a play earlier, I think it was the last game against who did they play? The Timberwolves, and Kawhi Leonard it was a play between Reggie Jackson and Kawhi Leonard, and Reggie Jackson completely botched it, and you saw Chauncey Billups pull him to the side and, like, you know, kind of talk to him and say, guys, listen, you know, instructing him, you should have done this, you could have done that, or whatever it is. So I think they've upgraded their coaching staff, again, their personnel, with Serge Ibaka, replacing Montrezl Harrell with Serge Ibaka. Now they have a stretch 5. They can hit the 3, pick and pop, pick and roll, but also a shot blocker. They can deter shots going to the rim. They added some athleticism to the rim. Now you have Zubac coming off the bench, backing up Serge. So you now have 2 legitimate 7-footers that are playing the center position, whereas in the past, you were kind of left with Montrezl Harrell sometimes playing that position at 6'7". He was just undersized, right? He could score like crazy. He plays with a lot of energy. He gets a lot of rebounds, but he just couldn't deal with bigger guys. And you saw him kind of, get roughhoused by Nikola Jokic when they were playing in the playoffs last season. However, the Clippers are off to a great start this season. They're having great stats, top 3-point shooting team in the NBA, one of the top 5 in offense and defense, really improved. However, this team is getting no significant coverage whatsoever. And it sounds like a broken record because I've said this before. The reason I'm saying it again is that it's continuing to happen over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Some people ask the question, hey man, why do you guys cover the Clippers so much? Apart from the fact that I like Kawhi Leonard, apart from the fact that that audience seems to love these videos, it's just that this team doesn't get enough coverage. If you look on TV, it's usually the same 1 or 2 teams always being covered, 1 or 2 players being covered, and you never hear any one of these people mentioned in the Clippers, rarely at all. Now, some people said because of how they performed in the playoffs last year, we got to wait and see. My question is, if that's the approach going into the season, then why bother playing the games? Why don't we just go straight to the playoffs? What is the purpose of these games? What are the purpose? Like, if that's the mentality, like, no, we're not going to cover them until they get to the playoffs and we see them come back. then why bother play these games? What's the purpose of this? So you're telling me no matter how they perform in the regular season, none of it matters. Well, guys, how you perform in the regular season is how you decide who's going to be your MVP, coach of the year, head coach of the year, all of these different things. So games don't matter, number one. Number two, if we're not going to cover them and wait till we get to the playoffs, why are we covering other teams that haven't won anything at all? And why are we covering them now? Why don't we wait for the playoffs for the Philadelphia 76ers? Why don't we wait for the playoffs for the Brooklyn Nets? Right? The only team one can say to give that benefit of the doubt to the Lakers, because yes, the Lakers won the title, and that's completely understandable, right? Because I've said it all season long that the title goes to the Lakers. No one here is disputing that unless, you believe something else. But they're the last champs. They're the last guys. They're the ones that have the title. Last season, it was whoever knocked off the Toronto Raptors. Until you knocked off the Toronto Raptors, they were still going to be they're still the champs, right? And they're still alive. So I understand the Lakers getting this preferential treatment because they're the champs. Now, it would be absurd if the Clippers had won the title last year and people were looking at the Lakers. Then I'd be like, okay, something is off here. But other teams have not made it. These other guys haven't won the title yet. So why are they being given the benefit of the doubt? To me, I think it's strange. I think the media is now kind of predisposed to whenever some bad news comes out about this team, they're the first ones to jump on it, right? That seems to be kind of the narrative here. No one is really talking about it. Some people have said, listen, you're covering the Clippers, but they're beating subpar teams, right? Teams that aren't that good. But I've seen the Lakers beat subpar teams, and they made it on the news every single day. So what is going on here, right? And to me, it's just something I don't understand. Maybe they're being punished for some reason or the other. I really don't understand it at this point. I don't know what this team has to do. Is it that you're telling me that, we got to wait till this team, first, are they going to start getting coverage when they make it to the conference final? If they make it to the conference finals, that's when we're going to start covering them. And if they win the finals, that's when we're going to start. Is that what we're going to do? Then if that's the case, I don't understand what is the purpose in even having a season, and what's the purpose in playing all of these games? I guess none of this matters, right? None of it matters, because if they're not going to get any coverage now, then what's the point in playing all of these games? And to me, at this point, I think is absurd. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I don't think, and I think a lot of their key players are going to suffer for it. Most likely, Kawhi Leonard will not win the regular season MVP, even if the team finishes with the best record in the NBA, because they're not getting any coverage anyway. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that this team is being blackballed by the media? And do you think that this is the way that it is? Or listen, do you think, who cares? They deserve it for dropping the ball like they did last season in the playoffs in the second round against the Denver Nuggets. They deserve this. Until they win, they should not be mentioned at all. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.